So we've just figured out what a scene is. Now we need to figure out what a source is, because there's two elements to OBS Studio, your scenes and your sources. But what are sources? Well, sources are found in the bottom left-hand corner of the application here. And basically, a source is some form of content that's going to appear on your stream in the preview area right here. It can be anything from images to video capture to overlays to browser links, websites, anything you want your stream to see will need to be added as a source to a scene. So we're going to be working on scene number 1 here. You see I've got scene 1 selected right here because it's blue. And I'm going to add a source. So go to your sources dock at the bottom and click the plus button. There we have a huge list of potential sources that you can add. And I'm going to go through them one by one and tell you exactly what they do. So let's get ahead and start with audio input capture. Audio input capture, I'm going to click create new and OK. Audio input capture is basically any audio input device that you want your stream to hear, whether that's the obvious one, a microphone, or you have a guitar plugged into a mixer. Here is where you will add that audio input device. So I'm going to click device, I'm going to click line in because that's my microphone that I'm using right now, and I'm going to click OK. And you'll see that at the bottom of the screen, you've now got your audio mixer receiving audio. That's a great sign. It means your microphone is picking up audio. If it's not right now, don't worry about it. We will cover the troubleshooting for audio a little bit later on in the course. I'm going to remove audio input capture and move on to the next one. You've got your audio output capture. This is any sound from your PC or system that you want your stream to hear. So not sound that's coming from an external device, not a microphone or a guitar, but actually sound from your PC. So if you were, again, create new. If you were playing music in the background, like Spotify or other sounds in the background on your PC, maybe your game sounds, you would choose here, probably default, but just to be safe, Realtek audio. And now, when your PC starts making sound, this monitor will go up and down as your PC makes sounds. On Streamlabs OBS, they have it automatic. On OBS Studio, you have to add it yourself. So audio output capture is your PC or system audio. Number 3 is a browser source. Again, create new. Browser sources are basically any website or URL link that you can grab and put in here will show up on your stream. So let's say, for example, I want, the BBC website. So I'm going to go www.bbc.com. I'm going to press OK, and it's going to show the BBC website in my preview area. Pretty simple, right? This can be done for any website. Let's think of another website. Facebook.com. There you go. And Facebook will pop up. Be advised, any websites with cookie application forms or cookie acceptance forms like this will need to have the cookies accepted in order for the browser source to work. But pretty cool feature, and if you ever need to show a website on your stream, this is the source, browser source. You can change the width and the height for the source as well, but we'll come on to editing sources a little bit later on. Let's get rid of the browser source. Now, on to color source. This is a feature unique to OBS Studio. They don't have this on Streamlabs. We're going to add a color source, create new as always, and basically it just creates a square of color. And I can change that color to be whatever I want it to be. I'm going to go for like a dark pinky brownie. And yeah, this is great if you want to create really simple overlays on your stream. You can drag it around, make it bigger or smaller. Really handy if you just need a flat block of color. Bye-bye color source. On to the next one, display capture. Now, your display capture is going to basically capture your entire display, like it says. We're going to click OK. And right now, you can see my other display because there's a little bit inception going on here. I'm showing you OBS and recording with Streamlabs, so you can actually see my other screen right now, and you can see me on screen twice, I think. Yeah, there I am. So you can choose between the two displays. I can choose my other display right here. It's going to show like loads of mirrored images of my second display. But this is display capture. If you want to capture each of your monitors one at a time, you can turn capture cursor on and off as well. This is what you want to use. Let's get rid of that. That's giving me a headache seeing all of those OBSs. All right, on to the next one, which is game capture. Now, game capture, very similar to display capture. but it's optimized to capture video games. So it means that it captures a higher frame rate, it's smoother, and it looks better. So when you've got a game open, this will capture any full screen application, or you can choose it to capture a specific window like this, or you can choose to capture foreground with a hotkey. To be honest, I'd always use capture any full screen application, unless you are running the game in windowed mode, and then I'd capture specific window. On to the next source. This is gradient, similar to color source, except this time you're just going to create a gradient on screen. Again, good for overlays, good for flat blocks of color. Not much else to say for gradient, but it is handy if you need it. Image, we're going to add a picture to our preview area. Here, I'm going to click Browse, and it's going to take me to my Pictures folder on my system. I'm going to choose this picture of my doggo, and there you have it. I'm just going to click OK, and the doggo is on screen. Looking mighty fine there, Kyber. Images, again, fantastic for advertising or promoting or overlays. We're gonna be using the image source quite a lot, so that's going to be one you're going to want to remember how to install. Get rid of that. By the way, to remove sources, I'm just clicking this little negative minus button down here, and that will remove the source. Image slideshow, I'm actually not going to add this. It's exactly the same as images, except you basically upload multiple images and it just flicks through the slideshow. Media source, if you want to upload a video to your stream, you're going to choose a media source or a WebM or a GIF. Any moving image, you will need to choose media source. I'm going to click loop so that my media replays again and again and again. Let's go find one of the tutorial videos, shall we? So I'm going to put on how to install and set up. I'm going to loop it. And in theory, it's going to play on screen. There it is. There I am, looking mighty fine. And there's my video looping on screen. Any moving images, you use media source. Let's remove that with the minus. We've got scene. This is a little complicated. We'll come back to this a little later. But basically, if I had, let's say I have an image on scene 2. I'm going to add an image source to scene 2 right now. I'm going to add that picture of the doggo. And I'm going to put him in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to go back to scene 1. Now, I want to have scene 2 on this scene, but without switching to scene 2. So I want to basically capture scene 2 as an image and host it on this scene. So I'm going to go plus, I'm going to go scene, and I'm going to go scene 2. And there you have it. I've now got the entire scene in scene 1. Make sense? It's a little bit complicated, but we will come back to this a little bit later because it becomes very, very handy indeed. Next, we have shader. A shader is basically a filter that you'll put on an image a little bit later on. We'll come up to this when we do filters because technically it's more of a filter than a source. Not something that we particularly need to cover right now. After shader, you have source mirror. Source mirror is, as it says, we're going to copy that source, but what it's going to do is it's not going to copy over the filters from the other source. So it's a mastered version, a raw version of that source. Again, another complicated one right here. We'll come back to it when we do filters and effects. Not really something you need right now for basic settings. Spectralizer is a little surprise I have coming later on in the course. That's a plugin. Text GDI. This one is useful. You want some text on your scene. You don't want to have to host it as an image. You simply just type in your text, and there you have it. You can change all your fonts, your sizes, your opacity if you want. Click OK, and it's a draggable source just like an image. Really handy source there. Also, text GDI. This is a little complicated, but it can read from Notepad files, and it can update in live time. So we will be using text GDI quite a lot later on in the course when you are reading from text files which have your game statistics or some form of stats in them. It's very, very handy. Remember the text GDI source. Okay, and what else do we have in here? Tuner Progress Bar, another plugin, which I will show you a little later on. VLC Video Source, this is another source you can use to add a media source, a video. But in this one, you can create playlists. We're going to cover this more a little later in the course. Video capture device. This one is key. Video capture device is your webcam. Anything that's going to capture lifetime image. You go into here, you do the drop-down menu on device, and you choose your camera. Unfortunately, if I click C920 right now, which is the camera I'm using to record for you, it can't there's no dual use, so it just clashes and it can't open it in OBS Studio. But if I did that, I clicked the C920, I clicked OK, it would usually have my webcam on stream right now. So that's for your webcam. And finally, your window capture. Window capture will capture any window that you ask it to capture. So if I go OK, it's going to look for windows that I have open on my computer. I've got Outlook, I've got Steam open, I've got Mastery course. Oh, look, that's our course right here on Media Equipped. If I choose Steam, it's going to host my Steam window. You see that in the background? I'm going to click OK. So any window that's open on your computer can be grabbed and basically projected onto your preview area with window capture. Now, that's a very, very quick run through of all of the sources here. Obviously, there's a lot more we can do. Stay tuned in future tutorials for the absolute maximum usage of these incredible sources.